Hello. Today we want to look at the Hebrew word Echad, which means one. We want to see that it does not mean compound unity the way people often argue. Now, if there is one place where both Trinitarians and some non-Trinitarians tend to agree, although they reach different conclusions, it is that the word Echad in Hebrew or one in English can refer to a compound unity depending on context. However, I beg to differ. The term Echad is used in the Bible as both cardinal and an ordinal number. In other words, it can mean either one, as in one sheep, or first, as in the first day. For example, the very first appearance, by the way, first appearance, that first, appears in Genesis chapter 1 verse 5. Let's look at it. And God called the light day, and the darkness he called night. And the evening and the morning were the first day. Now the word translated as first here was Echad, which is Strong's number H259. Echad, as we've seen, is Strong's number H259, which is used in a number of ways in the Bible. In King James Version, it appears a total of 952 times, and it's translated as one 687 times, as first 36 times, another 35 times, other 30 times, any 18 times, once 13 times, 11 13 times, every 10 times, certain 9 times, an 7 times, some 7 times. Now, since I'd said Echad is always used in reference to one, let's look at how it's used as some and 11 to avoid any confusion. Now, when Joseph's brothers saw him approaching them, they planned to kill and throw him into a pit. The pit was referred to as some pit. Come now, therefore, and let us slay him, and cast him into some pit, and we will say, some evil beast hath devoured him, and we shall see what will become of his dreams. Do you think the brothers were thinking of throwing him into multiple pits? When it comes to 11, Echad is used in combination with Strong's number H6240. So let's focus on Strong's number H6240 and see what it means. As you can see, the word comes from the root word that means 10, and it's only used in combination to make the numbers 11 to 19. For example, saying 11 is just like saying 10 and 1. So it's 11 up to 19, 10 and 1, 10 and 2, up to 10 and 9. So it's used in that combination. We see that the word 1 still appears, 10 and 1. That's why it's used in 11. Ironically, I've never heard people mentioning this verse or any other indicating 11 in reference to Echad. Now, let's focus only on some of the verses used to point to compound unity, starting with the most common one. Genesis chapter 2 verse 24. Therefore shall a man leave his father and his mother, and shall cleave unto his wife, and they shall become one flesh. One here is Echad, H259, as we had seen. How many marriages are referred to here? In this context, we are only told about one marriage. So the number still remains, Echad still just remains one. It refers to one marriage. And the word referring to one marriage here is flesh. Therefore, the word that actually refers to compound unity here is flesh, not one. Let's look at another place. Genesis 32 verse 8, and said, if Esau come to one company. Now here too is the word company that refers to a group of people, while Echad refers to that one company. It's still one company. It's the company that means group. When we go to Genesis chapter 34 verse 16, we also see the use of the word Echad. And here again, it's the people tend to transfer what the word people mean in one people, what the word people mean to the one Echad or one. It's people that refers to that group of people. It's not the word Echad itself. Let's look at Numbers chapter 13 verse 23. And they came unto the brook of Eshcol, and cut down from thence a branch with one cluster of grapes. Here again, it's the cluster that refers to the group or to the compound unity. Are you seeing a pattern here? People tend to transfer what actually refers to the compound unity to the cardinal number. The cardinal always refers to one. It's one cluster. It's the cluster that refers to group. If I'm being mistaken, let's check at the dictionary. Cluster means a group of similar things that are close together, sometimes surrounding something. So it's the word cluster that refers to the group. It's not the word Echad itself. Now, in all the examples given, we can still, the compound unity can still appear even if the word one is removed. And let's look at some examples. Genesis 2:24. The way it's written with Echad, therefore shall a man leave his father and his mother, and shall cleave unto his wife, and they shall be one flesh. If we remove the Echad, it still makes sense, and they shall be a flesh can still make sense without the use of the word Echad. So it's the term flesh that refers to that unity. It's not the term one. Genesis 32:8, one company. If we simply say, and said, if also Esau come to the company and smite it, it still stands. It still refers to a group of people, even without using the term Echad or one. Again, in Genesis 34:16, we can remove the word Echad, and the compound unity in people will still stand. The same appears in Numbers 13:23 that we looked at last. One cluster. If we remove the word one, Echad, it still remains with a cluster of grapes, and we'll still understand that it means a collection of grapes that were tightly packed together. So it's not the word one itself that makes it become a compound unity, but the noun that is used. Let's look at a brief English lesson. In every case where a plural noun is used, the plurality is always derived from the plural noun itself and not the cardinal number. For example, in one cluster of grapes, it's the word cluster that indicates plurality, not the cardinal number one. One simply means that there is just a single cluster as opposed to two or more clusters. There can be one cluster, three clusters, and so on. And so long as the word cluster is there, it will still mean the same thing. So let's not break English rules by transferring what the group means to the cardinal number. Now, as we conclude, let's look at Ezekiel chapter 37, verses 21 and 22 to look at something. Here the Lord says, "And I will make them one nation, Echad, and I will make them one nation in the land, upon the mountains of Israel, and one king shall be king to them. And there shall be no more two nations, neither shall they be divided into two kingdoms any more at all." Now the Israelites were scattered in many places, but God was promising to gather them into one nation. He even stated they would not be divided into two kingdoms. Now we see they won't even be two kingdoms, they would just be one nation. But that one nation would obviously be composed of many people, but it would still remain one nation, not even two, one nation. So the word Echad does not mean compound unity at all. Consider this as we continue with our studies. Thank you and God bless you.